Okay, so now that we know about object prototypes, let's learn about prototype inheritance. So how can we inherit from prototypes and methods from one object to another? And we'll also create new objects. So let me create here first of all a comment of prototype inheritance. And after that, we'll create new objects. Okay, so let's start with the prototype inheritance. Now, all JavaScript objects inherit prototypes and their method from a prototype. Now, all JavaScript objects inherit their properties and methods from a prototype. For example, the data object inherits from data.prototype, the array object inherits from array.prototype, and a person object inherits from object.prototype. The object prototype is on the top of the prototypes. So it is on the top of the prototype inheritance chain. So date objects, array objects, and person objects inherit from the object actually. So from the object.prototype. So let's create here a constructor function. Let's say user, and this will take in two arguments: first name first name and last name. Now let's say this dot first name is equal to first name, comma, and this dot last name is equal to last name. Now down here we'll now create a simple prototype method. So let's go here, take our user and say dot prototype and dot let's call our method, let's say we create a greeting method. So this will just greet our user, and let's create now a anonymous function, and let's say that this will return a template string of hi and this dot first name and this dot last name. Okay, now let's instantiate a new object. So let's say const, and we'll create a user1, and this user1 will be a new user which will have the name of Norbert. Aren't you sick of Norbert? Norbert, I typed my own name wrong. Holy moly. So Norbert and Menhart for the last name. Okay, now let's call our object, and also let's call console.log our user1, and with the method greeting. Okay, so hi Norbert Menhart. Great. Now I want to create another construction function for a admin. So let's go with function, and this will be admin, and this will take in a first name, last name, a email address, so email, and a access. So what kind of access does this admin have? Now with the admin constructor function, we can call the user constructor function, which is in the current context by typing in the object.call method, and this takes in a few parameters. Now let's just first of all call our user.call, okay, because I already see calls the method of an object, substituting another object from the current object. So user.call, and the first thing we need to insert here is this. Then what we want to call from the user, we have two parameters here, so the first name and the last name. Okay, now we can close this up, and you can see that this is a bit different than this one up here. This is separated by commas, and this will be separated by curly, I forgot how this is called. Okay, so let's just move on. I'm really tired. So this dot email, and there should be the email, and this dot access, and this will be the access. Okay, now I can instantiate or create a new admin. So let's go outside, go down here, let's say instantiate, let's just say insta admin. Now let's create a const. I'm going to name this admin 1, and this will be a new admin with the name of, say, Norbert, last name Menhart. Keep forgetting to put them into strings. So Menhart, then let's say he has an email address. Actually, we need to enable an email address. What is wrong with me? Mail.com. So Norbert@mail.com, and a access type of, because he's an admin, let's say he has a full access type. Great, so let's actually scroll up here so you can see what I'm doing here. Now, if I would console log now our admin, so console.log admin 1, let's see, we get our user, our admin. Okay, and if we go inside our admin, we'll see that from the proto, just go down here. Now we don't have it yet. We now need to inherit the prototype method. So now we need to go, and before we create this, we need to go up here and say that admin, so the constructor function dot prototype is equal to object dot create, and we'll call from the user dot prototype. Okay, now if I save this, now if I take a look in our admin, and there it is. Now its proto is the user. So if I open this up, go to the object, you can see I have this greeting. So I'll actually, let me comment this out. Hit save again. Let's go into admin again. Now the proto is object. If you go into it, it has nothing. So even if I would go here and call the greeting method, hit save, I can see admin greeting is not a function. But as soon as I uncomment this and hit save, hi Norbert Menhart, wee! And now if we only, let me copy this one more time. Let's also console log the admin, and we go into the admin. On the proto, you can see it's now part of the user proto. And if you go into the object, you can see it has the greeting function, the greeting method. Great. Well, we're not quite done yet. Although greeting is now inherited the prototype method, it's part of the user constructor, as you can see here. So what we need to do now is make the admin prototype return admin. And we can do this by saying admin, not this one, the constructor function. So admin constructor function dot prototype dot constructor is equal to constructor is equal to admin. Okay, so now if I hit save and go into our admin again, I got user, and this isn't right. So let's see, admin user, there's something wrong. So now we should go down here and say admin dot prototype dot greeting is now a new function. Let me go in here. Function of admin now. Yeah. So wait just a second. So before this, it was part of the user. Let's comment this out. So user object is part of the object. And if I assign it to the admin and hit save, now we go back into it again. So proto user constructor of admin. Okay, so the constructor function is now not part of the object anymore, is part of the admin. So the proto is now here in the greeting and it's part of the user. So let's go in here and say we create a, let's modify now the greeting for the admin. Let's say here return a template string of hi this dot first name and this dot last name. And let's also say welcome here, welcome back. So now if I would run greeting on the admin, we can see it's running this greeting method. And if down here I would run a user, so user1 dot greeting, it should run the greeting method from the user, not from the admin anymore. As you can see, this is also working. Okay, so next up, let's create a new object. So let's go down here and let's first of all start off with the const. Let's say user prototypes. Prototypes. Okay, and we are just going to create here a few prototypes. So let's say full name. So key, not a key, but this is a method. Let's assign it to a function. And let's return this dot first name and this dot last name. I forgot the this keyword. So this, the first name, this dot last name. Now let's create another method of greeting. And let's say function. And this function will return a welcome this dot full name. Okay, so we got in here two methods in the proto, and now let's go down here and let's say const. Let's instantiate now a Arabella, and this will be a object dot create user prototypes. Now if I would actually, let me just comment out these two console logs up here and this one here. Okay, let's hit save. So we have no more console logs. So let's call Arabella. If we had her number, then we could call her Arabella. So if we run Arabella, this is our empty object, which has two methods, full name and greeting. So now if I would go into Arabella and let's say dot first name and give her a first name, Arabella, hit save. We take a look in Arabella again. Oh, she has a first name. Now let's go into Arabella and say dot last name and assign her a last name of Menhart. Check out our object again, and now our object also has a last name. So this means we have our first name and last name, that we can run Arabella. Actually, we can console log now. Arabella dot full name. Oh, forgot the method. And now we get Arabella Meinhardt. And if I would console log greeting, there we get welcome function. What do we get? Welcome function. Greeting. Oh, mistakes were made. There we go. Okay, so I forgot to call the method. How do you want to work if you are not calling me? So yeah, now it returns welcome Arabella Meinhardt. Great. Now next up, let's go and assign her a degree. So let's go up here. Let's say we first of all assign her a degree. So Arabella dot degree is equal to Bachelor of Engineering. Now if we take a look in Arabella, she is a Bachelor of Engineering. So let's change her degree. So we're going to go up here and let's say change degree, call a function, so type in degree. Yep, one R too many. And we will run here this dot degree. It's exactly as we did before. So new degree. Okay, let's hit save. Now let's go down into Arabella, and actually first of all let's run the degree. I can actually change the greetings. Let's copy the greeting and let's say she will now have welcome this dot. Let's copy this function. Once here. Just a second. So I need to have this, and this will be degree. So if I would now console log Arabella dot greeting, we will get, there should be a method, welcome with title. Okay, now let's change her degree. So let's run the change degree method, Arabella change degree, and within here we'll change the argument. So we need to put in the argument, and actually up here I also need the new degree. So I've got to put in this argument here. So now we can say that new degree will be Master of Disaster. So let's call Arabella again with the degree, and now she is Master of Disaster. Okay, so there is actually another simpler way of doing this. So let's first create another user object by assigning an object as values for the keys. So let's go in here. What I mean by that. So let's create first of a const. Let's say Bernard. And Bernard will be assigned to the object dot create. We will call our user prototypes up there. And we're not finished. Within this parenthesis, we'll say comma. And now within here, we'll pass in first name. So this is the key. And for the values, we will pass in value. And now the actual value. So let's say Bernard. Now comma. And we'll create, actually copy this 2 more times. Last name. And this will be Meinhardt. And down here we will have our degree, and we will be boss. It's pretty cocky, isn't it? So now if I will console log our Bernard body here, and let's say, hey, we got a new object, Bernard degree boss, first name Bernard, last name Menhart, and let's see, do we have our methods? So let's say dot full name and Bernard Menhart degree. Actually, I should call what degree. What kind of method? Greeting. Greeting. Let's greet Bernard. Welcome, boss. Bernard Menhart. It's so stupid. Okay, guys. So that's pretty much it for prototype inheritance and creating new objects. So see you in the next one. Bye bye.